hello if you are new here. Today's video is going to be about TV shows that caused murder. So it's either going to be if the person was inspired by a certain movie or TV show, or if downright the TV show literally caused somebody's murder or influenced it, if that makes sense. It's also quite controversial because the main question is, did this TV show cause this person's murder? Keep watching and I really hope you enjoy. Make sure that you use comment, like, and subscribe. I'm also doing a Q&A soon, so make sure you comment down below some questions that you want me to answer or DM them to me on my Instagram that I will put right there. So enjoy today's video and stay safe. Jonathan Schmitz shot and killed Scott Amager 3 days after the two men appeared on the talk show, The Jenny Jones Show, in 1995. Schmitz appeared on an episode called Same-Sex Secret Crushes, the show segment about admitting a same-sex crush on an unsuspecting person. When Schmitz was asked to be on the show, he was only told that someone secretly had feelings for him, and that the identity of the person would be revealed on camera. He later claimed that the producers hinted that the person with the crush was a woman. He also alleged that he was under the impression that an ex-girlfriend wanted to reconcile with him. He then saw his 32-year-old friend Scott Amager confess to having a crush on him on national television. Schmitz seemed a little bit embarrassed and a little bit awkward and uncomfortable. He stated that he was heterosexual and nervously laughed off the remarks. The taped show never aired because of the murder, but was later shown in part of news pieces after the event. One of Scott Amager's friends stated during the trial that Schmitz and Amager had an encounter following the show. 3 days after the show taped, Scott allegedly left Jonathan a note that was suggestive in nature. This sparked Schmitz's anger. He went to the bank, took out money, and used it to purchase a shotgun. He later went to Amager's house and shot him. Amager's roommate witnessed the event. Schmitz called the police on the day of the crime, and he immediately confessed to killing Scott Amager. When he was asked why he did the crime, he said it was because he was embarrassed on national TV.
I think I just got him in.
Okay, calm down, okay?
I shot this guy.
Okay, why did you do that?
Because he took me on national TV and he's up on the.
Schmitz was convicted in 1996 of second-degree murder and felony firearms, and was sentenced to prison for 25 to 50 years. He appealed but was found guilty of the same offences, and he was given the original sentence again. However, he was released in 2017 for good behaviour. On May 7, 1999, a jury found The Jenny Jones Show and its maker liable for the death of Scott Amager, and awarded his family $29.3 million. However, on October 22, 2002, the Michigan Court of Appeals overturned the award. The Amager family never received any compensation. It has been since revealed that Schmitz had a homophobic father, which also likely contributed to his insecurity on the issue. I'm going to play parts from the episode, however I won't play the full thing as it's quite long. I will link the full video down below in the description.
Which of these ways would you choose to reveal your secret crush on someone? A, would you write that person a letter? B, would you tell the person in private in case he rejects you? Or C, would you tell that person that you're gay and you hope he is on national television? That was your first time? What was your first impression?
Well, I only saw the lower half of him, so you can imagine. He was hot.
Okay, you think about you have fantasies about him?
I've had a couple, yeah.
Yeah, you had when he was under the car, you had a fantasy about him.
Yeah, something to do with like brake oil, line snapping, and pretty big hammock in my yard, and I thought about it, tying him up to my hammock.
And?
Well, it entails like whipped cream and champagne, stuff like that.
Now, John, he knows you're gay, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that he is?
No.
Anything's possible.
A little playback of what Scott said about you, John. Take a look at that monitor
right
down
here?
there.
Well, it entails like whipped cream and champagne, stuff like that.
Scott was pretty open about he's been fantasizing about you since he saw you under that car for the first time. He had an under-the-car fantasy and he had a hammock fantasy he's been telling us about. Did you have any idea that he liked you this much?
No, I did not.
Can you tell us what your status is? Are you involved with anybody, or?
No, but I am definitely heterosexual, I guess you could say.
As much as we all regret what happened, the fact is that this tragedy is about the actions of one individual.
The Jerry Springer Show has been named as one of the trashiest shows on TV. The appearances usually result in on-screen verbal and physical brawls that have to be broken up by Springer's security team. However, Ralph Panitz and his wife Eleanor, who starred in the 2000 episode Secret Mistresses Confronted, took it one step too far. On the episode, they accused Ralph's ex, Nancy Campbell, of daily stalking that was ruining the couple's lives. On air, Springer informed Nancy for the first time that Ralph and Eleanor had gotten married. Nancy and Ralph had only just gotten divorced in 1999, and it was discovered on TV that all of them were staying at the same hotel on the eve of the show's taping, and that Ralph had snuck out to have sex with Nancy behind Eleanor's back. However, Eleanor blamed the show for booking them into the same hotel. As the three got into a violent altercation, viewers thought they were just watching another episode. No one expected this to end in murder. Eleanor and Ralph split up a month after the show. Ralph got back with Nancy and they moved in together. Nancy filed a restraining order against Ralph as he allegedly was violently threatening her, and things ended. Eleanor and Ralph got back together and Eleanor moved into the house that Ralph and Nancy had once shared. There was ongoing court battles about the house, and Nancy won the possession of the house. The couple had 15 minutes to pack up. The night of the murder, Eleanor and Ralph's 25-year-old nephew, Marcus, who was also staying with the couple, helped pack the house up. Ralph had went out to see the episode in a bar. A few hours later, he came back to the house drunk, whilst Ellie and Marcus were frantically loading their vehicles. They saw a cop car out front with Nancy. They snuck Ralph out and told him to meet them at the nearby 7-Eleven. However, as soon as Ellie and Marcus left, they had a very bad feeling that Ralph would harm Nancy. They rushed back, and Marcus went back to the house whilst Ellie waited in the car. The door was locked and no one could get in. Marcus made a neighbor call 911. The police officers who saw the scene were horrified. Blood was everywhere. Nancy was beaten and strangled to death. People said that Nancy was unrecognizable and that there was footprints on her face. Whilst Ellie was waiting at the end of the street, she saw Ralph. They went on the run for 4 days. Ellie thought they were running from INS, who were going to deport Ralph and send him back to Germany. After surrendering, Ralph was charged with second-degree murder and received a life sentence. To this day, Eleanor claims her husband is innocent. 2009, VH1 premiered a reality dating show titled Megan Wants a Millionaire. While fans of this notorious genre expected the contestants to be crazy, smooth operator Ryan Alexander Jenkins took it to another level. In March, Jenkins was sent home from the show. Days after, he spontaneously married former swimsuit model Jasmine Foray. Weeks later, however, the marriage was allegedly annulled. On August 2015, Jasmine's body was found stuffed into a suitcase and thrown into a trash bin. Soon after, the Orange County District's Attorney Office pressed murder charges on Jenkins. They revealed that Jasmine's teeth and fingers were removed. She was beaten, strangled, and crushed. She was in such a damaged condition that she could only be identified by the serial number on her breast implants. A huge manhunt for Jenkins ensued, but on August 23rd, he was found dead due to suicide by hanging in a Canadian motel room. A suicide note titled My Last Will and Testament, written on August 20th, was found on his hard drive. There was basically a description of his thoughts about Jasmine. Most were about how he loved and cherished her, and some were about how frustrated she made him. It is possible that part of his anger came from recently losing on Megan Wants a Millionaire. Following the murder and suicide, VH cancelled the remainder of the season, which had only aired 3 episodes. Jenkins had also filmed and been paid for another VH1 show titled I Love Money 3, but its airing was also completely scrapped due to this crime. Bill Conrad Jr. was an assistant district attorney living in Texas. In 2006, the online watchdog group Perverted Justice, a group used by the show to identify potential online predators, began an investigation into Conrad's online dealings. Conrad allegedly solicited sex from a watchdog decoy posing as a 13-year-old boy. Bill has 2 children himself, a son and a daughter. The plan was set. Conrad was given the address of the Sting House, where the police and the show's host, Chris Hansen, would be waiting to confront him. However, he did not take the bait, and instead, the police came to his door with an arrest warrant. Police knocked on Conrad's door, but there was no answer. The SWAT team were standing by and forced their way into the home and found Conrad with a shotgun. According to the officer's account, Conrad uttered, "Guys, I'm not going to hurt anybody," before putting the gun up to his head and pulling the trigger. Conrad was airlifted to the hospital 30 miles west in Dallas and died shortly after. Conrad's sister, Patricia, brought a $105 million lawsuit against NBC. Patricia claimed that Dateline was directly responsible for her brother's death. NBC denied that it had any involvement in the decision to make the arrest, and the police were merely acting on a tip supplied from the watchdog group. Dateline's cameras were present at the scene when Conrad shot himself. Their audio did pick up the sound of the gunshot. The footage was aired as a part of the To Catch a Predator episode, but was later stripped from Dateline's website. In 2008, NBC and Patricia settled outside of court, although the details of the settlement remain unknown. I'm about to show you the episode that was aired in the moments leading up to Conrad's death.
That was the case when a decoy from Perverted Justice started getting messages from a man who we learned was an assistant district attorney from a nearby county. 56-year-old Louis William Conrad Jr., screen name InExcess00, chatted graphically about sex with a Perverted Justice volunteer pretending to be a 13-year-old boy. And he sent pornographic pictures to the decoy. He talked about coming over to the undercover house, but in the end, never did. And as far as we know, never knew Dateline was in the area. The Murphy police obtained an arrest warrant for Conrad and did something we've not seen before. They contacted the local authorities in Conrad's town and knocked on his door. Conrad didn't answer, but police said there were signs he was still inside, so a tactical team was called in. The officers lined up in formation, then broke through the back door. But before they could make the arrest, the assistant DA pulled out a gun and pointed it at his head. Lieutenant Adana Barber was there.